Fastball's crushed.
Alex Bregman and the Houston Astros at Fenway Park tonight, kicking off a weekend series, a 3-game set against the team with the best record in baseball, the Boston Red Sox. Bregman has been as hot as anybody in the league lately. If you look at the best records in the American League, you've got the best in the East taking on the best in the West. The Astros tied with the Yankees for the second best record overall and currently leading the AL West by 3.5 games. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, this is a rematch of last year's ALDS. It could be a preview of this year's ALCS. Should be a fun weekend.
It's going to be a blast. We've got a lot of firepower, good pitching. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this ball game here.
And the firepower goes with the Red Sox at home versus the Astros on the road in our Shiner Spotlight. These two teams really get it done in those categories.
They absolutely do. Last year was the Houston Astros offense. We obviously know that their rotation has gotten much stronger, and it's the Boston Red Sox. Pretty much an anemic year last year as far as a home run is concerned. Now they're starting to light it up. But on the road, we know the Astros are phenomenal with that 5.5 runs per game. With that pitching staff coming in here, will be interesting to see them face up against guys like J.D. Martinez. The season series is tied up 2-2, and I think that gives you a real impression that these guys are matched up pretty evenly. But the advantage right now, late in this season, is to the Boston Red Sox because they do play so well at home with those right-handed bats going up against that Fenway wall.
Should be a fun one tonight. Sellout crowd. It is a Friday night in Boston as we get you ready for baseball. Alex Bregman, J.D. Martinez. It'll be Garrett Cole against David Price. All that coming up right after this. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. At Fenway Park, where last year the Houston Astros, last time they were here, were celebrating an ALDS championship after winning Game 4 in Boston. Minutes away from the first pitch tonight. timeless places that bring history back to life. Where legendary teams built empires that have dominated the game for decades. The Houston Astros stormed the gates of baseball royalty in 2017.
A celebration at Fenway, right behind the pitcher's mound.
Conquering baseball's 3 most storied franchises and snatching the ultimate crown.
Game 7 on the road at Dodger Stadium, and the Astros prevail.
It began at Fenway Park, where the upstart Astros fired the shot that set off a seismic shift in the balance of American League power.
And that ball is gone! And there are the 2017 American League champions. For the first time ever, the Astros are baseball's best.
The Astros are looking to reign again in 2018, stocking up on the game's best arms and charging into September behind a young star who's stirring the echoes of baseball's greatness with old school passion and a new school playfulness.
Well played, boys, well played.
But history has a way of repeating itself, and the Red Sox are back and reloaded, looking to turn the tables and lay claim to the throne. Tonight, the reigning champs return to baseball's greatest cathedral with history on their side and the future on their minds. The 2 best teams in baseball, an epic showdown in Boston, history in the making right now.
It is a beautiful night in Boston for what could be a very exciting series. AJ Hinch calling this one very important as both of these teams look to win their division. They are on the road, kicking off a road trip, and they had an off day yesterday. The player, though, that probably didn't want an off day was Alex Bregman, who has been red hot for a long time now. He's our TXU power player. His last 17, we're not talking small sample size here. Look at those numbers, slugging something like an OPS right now with all the extra base hits he's put up. Locked in. His players have no other way to describe what Bregman's been doing at the plate. He's been really carrying this team in a way, guys, as he has given his teammates around him a lot of confidence with the way that he's been playing in this series. We've heard a lot of MVP talk from the other side, but Alex is getting the 3 letters as well. We've heard those chants, and I know you guys will have more on that as the series continues. TK?
We will for sure, as Alex Bregman and the Astros will line up this way, presented by Southwest Airlines. George Springer will lead things off, followed by Jose Altuve at second. Alex Bregman in that 3 spot. What a homestand it was for him. Carlos Correa hits cleanup. Tyler White DHs at bats 5th. Yuli Gurriel at first base. Josh Reddick in left field. Martin Maldonado batting 8th behind the plate. And Jake Marisnick gets a start tonight in center field. David Price ready to go. We're underway for a weekend series between the Astros and the Red Sox, and the first pitch is popped up, and Kinsler took it away from Mookie Betts at the last minute. Ian Kinsler reaching out to make that play.
Could have been an ugly start for the Boston Red Sox, but luckily Kinsler able to make the play and avoid contact. George trying to be aggressive early, cuts under it. Wow.
Price will face Jose Altuve. Altuve, good numbers in his career against David Price. Also good numbers against Boston in the ALDS last year as he takes a called strike. Not a lot of guys have great numbers against David Price. Altuve being one of them. He's 8 for 22.
David Price is making his 286th career start, his 27th start this season. Good record, decent ERA at 3.60. Opponent batting average at 237.
Had a shortened start in his last outing, was hit in the wrist by a line drive. Only went 3 innings in that outing against Miami. And he is working on extended rest because of that. He last pitched a week ago Wednesday, so working on a full 9 days rest is Altuve with a 2-2 count. Alex Cora, last year's bench coach for the World Champions in his first year managing Boston. and managing them to a 97-44 record, best in baseball, and on pace for their best in franchise history. On the third strikeout, Altuve goes down looking. Price picks up his first strikeout.
A lot of strikeouts recently for Jose Altuve. Caught looking right here. They want the pitch inside, but it ends up being a center cut fastball that he was unable to pull the trigger on.
Here's the defense for the Red Sox tonight. In left field, Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr. in center, and Mookie Betts is in right. Eduardo Nunez and Xander Bogaerts on the left side. Ian Kinsler and Mitch Moreland on the right side. Sandy Leon behind the plate for David Price. Well, here is the hottest Astro. He has been carrying this team lately. And you know Alex Bregman, who looks forward to every game of the 162-game schedule, in particular was looking forward to tonight's game.
It's a big stage, and you're right across the field from a couple of guys vying for that MVP. And he has definitely swung himself into the mix and definitely a part of that conversation.
Coming off a career-high game with 5 runs batted in. Up to 96 RBIs, 95 runs scored. 29 home runs and 47 doubles. Takes one just inside, says Brian O'Nora, the crew chief. It's 2-1. Beautiful night here in Boston. We're with you tonight, and then an afternoon, late afternoon contest tomorrow, and then a night game Sunday before heading to Detroit. 2-city, 6-game road trip. Alex ahead of the count, 3-1.
Time to hit.
Yeah, David Price hasn't been walking many guys, and now he's put Alex into a hitter's count.
All the numbers that Alex is putting up, he's put pitchers on alert that they've got to be good. He has been crushing mistakes.
Outside, ball 4. Price, who had only walked 8 batters in his last 10 starts combined. A little too careful with Alex Bregman there. Ends up walking Bregman. That's his 82nd walk of the year.
That might be the best option for Alex Bregman against opposing teams, considering the slugging percentage that Julia put on this graphic earlier, 862. She's right. That's more of an OPS number for some guys, but that's a slugging right now for Alex Bregman.
Bregman, as you saw, reaching in 46 consecutive road games, second longest streak in franchise history. He could match the record set by Jeff Bagwell back in 2 seasons combined, bagging 51 straight games from 98 through 99. Here's Carlos Correa. Always has hit well against the Red Sox and the Yankees, and very good numbers here at Fenway Park. This could be a big series for Correa to get things turned around.
He is comfortable here. You saw the number on the lower right-hand corner of the screen that said he has 6 career home runs here at Fenway. But yeah, it's nice to be back in comfortable places after you've been struggling. Hopefully seeing the ball good and get him going.
Upstairs, 2-1.
I just want to see Carlos committed.
Yep.
We've seen him in between and take some pitches, hittable pitches in the strike zone.
This could be a good example. This is a good situation here where Price is usually around the zone. He's got a 2-1 count. He's already walked Bregman. And instead it's upstairs and it's 3-1.
And you've got a pitcher struggling with command. David Price is having a little bit of a conversation with himself before he throws this next pitch.
No walks in either of his last 2 starts. Tonight he's already walked Bregman, and now he's behind 3-1 to Correa.
I like it. Good swing. He was looking for the fastball, got the fastball, and put a swing on it.
one career home run against David Price. Red Sox have been selling out every night the last 30 games. Another one tonight. Called third strike. Outside corner at the knees. Perfectly placed by Price for the final out of the inning. Tonight, Mookie Betts, Andrew Benintendi, J.D. Martinez, the first three. Then Xander Bogaerts in a cleanup spot. Mitch Moreland, the left-hand hitting first baseman. Ian Kinsler, Eduardo Nunez, Sandy Leon, and Jackie Bradley Jr. round out your Boston lineup.
Garrett Cole, power right arm on the mound tonight here in Fenway Park for the Houston Astros, making his 29th start. Record is very good at 13-5, creeping towards that 180 innings pitched mark, and he has 243 strikeouts this season. 5 behind Justin Verlander.
Those two guys keep going back and forth every time they start a game. Cole getting a start against the Red Sox tonight. Did pitch against them in June at Minute Maid Park and went 7 innings of 3-run baseball. Facing Mookie Betts, one of the two leading candidates on this team for MVP. Betts and J.D. Martinez both having tremendous seasons. Mookie just percentage points ahead in the batting race right now. Hits the ball up the middle for a base hit, and Mookie with a base hit to start this game for Boston on the second pitch he sees.
Good piece of hitting, but it might have been a hanging breaking ball up out of the plate. As well as Mookie Betts has been going all year long. Easy decision by him to get the barrel to it. And with that shift on, wide open spaces on that right side.
Now Cole will face Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi having the kind of year that for a lot of teams he would be their best hitter. But on this team he's about 4th best behind the 2 MVP candidates and Xander Bogaerts. 78 runs batted in, 97 runs scored, adding 292. And he's been very good in his last couple of months. Last 46 games, 316 average. Mookie Betts will have to be watched over at first base. He has a career high 27 stolen bases this year. Red Sox as a team are second in the AL with 105 steals. And that's one of the reasons you see Martin Maldonado catching tonight. And Maldonado, one of the reasons he was acquired was to, in the potential postseason matchups, be able to control both the Boston and the Cleveland Indians running game.
Yeah, just get into the head of the base runner and make them feel as if they need a great jump to steal that bag. That's what Martin Maldonado does. Nothing against a Brian McCann or a Max Stassi, but those guys are a little bit easier to run on. And it kind of takes the thought process out that they don't have to worry about pop times or arm strength, as opposed to Martin Maldonado, where his pop time and his arm strength are phenomenal.
Counted in. 3-1 the count. Saw Maldonado checking a little cheat sheet there in his back pocket, and you may have also noticed both catchers tonight. The shadows are a little tough here at times at Fenway Park to see signs, so both catchers wearing the fluorescent fingernails. Maldonado going with the orange and Sandy Leon with the yellow. There goes Mookie, and a line drive into left field for a base hit. Mookie making the turn, heading to third, and the quick throw will be not in time. Mookie challenges Reddick and wins. Pretty aggressive base running to start this game for Mookie Betts and the Red Sox.
It was aggressive, but it was also very intelligent. That shift was employed against Benintendi, so it was a long way for Alex Bregman to get over to third base. So Josh Reddick essentially had to lead Alex Bregman to third base. There you see Alex at that shortstop position, arriving just a couple of steps ahead of the throw, but made a good pick. But as he went up to make that pick, took the glove away from the sliding Mookie Betts.
With Josh's arm playing in the short left field, he should have an opportunity tonight to throw out base runners on any potential fly ball. Here's JD Martinez. A couple of base hits for the Red Sox to start this game. JD sends one to right. Plenty deep enough as Springer eases back. Mookie will tag and score easily. Betts scores his 112th run. JD Martinez, his league-leading 116th RBI, and the Red Sox in front early, 1-0.
If you're an Astro fan, you might be a little bit grateful that it was just a sacrifice fly the way JD Martinez has been going this season. He has been very good with runners in scoring position. So good, he's the best. He's ahead, just ahead of Yuli Gurriel.
Here's Xander Bogaerts. Benintendi also a guy that will run. He's 20 of 22 in stolen bases this year. Red Sox have played great baseball at home, as we've mentioned. They've also played great baseball facing right-handed pitchers. They're 78-30 against right-handed starters this year. 48 games over 500. A lot of their right-hand hitters, Xander Bogaerts being one of them, hit better against righties than lefties. Bogaerts 281 to start the night, 290 against right-hander.
He's another guy that gets overshadowed in this lineup.
Unbelievable, their first four. This guy's got a career high 89 runs batted in, 19 home runs. Cleanup hitter, shortstop, 15 RBIs his last 16 games. Bogaerts trying to hold up. James Hoy, the first base umpire, said that was a swing.
I think that was a pretty good call. Right at that front edge. May have gone the Astros' way.
Red Sox coming off a road trip. 7-gamer. They went 5-2. They split the 4 games in Chicago against the White Sox and then swept the Atlanta Braves. Both teams with the off day yesterday. 2-2 the count. Garrett Cole making his second career start at Fenway Park. Pitched with the Pirates here last year. Early part of the season back on April the 3rd. Gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. Runner on the go, swing and a miss. Maldonado a chance, strike him out, throw him out, double play to end the inning, and a fist pump from Garrett Cole.
Talked about Martin Maldonado. He's got to be back there calling the right pitches, and Garrett Cole executes it great. Got a strike down to second base for the strike him out, throw him out, double play.
It's on Twitter, ATT Sportsnet SW. We ask you, after an unbelievable week at home, has your opinion of Alex Bregman's MVP chances changed? Is it yes? You think it's Bregman versus JD Martinez? Yes, he's a top 3 candidate, or no, maybe next year. Vote. We'll let you know which one of those wins the straw poll later in the broadcast. TK.
All right, Julia, it certainly has been an interesting story to follow along as Alex Bregman continues to get better with every month and enjoying the stage here tonight. Though his first time up, he didn't get a chance to swing the bat as he was walked. Tyler White will lead things off for the Astros. See if they gain any momentum after that first run was scored by Boston, but then Martin Maldonado threw out Andrew Benintendi after the strikeout.
Yeah, it was beautifully done. And we talked about pop time and arm strength, and his average pop time is 1.98. The major league average closer to 2.06. The arm strength is what's incredible to me. 87.5 miles an hour
on average.
Man,
he's like a pitcher behind the plate. And Benintendi, who was before that 20 of 22. So over 90% success rate, and he was out by 10 feet.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Tyler White taking a couple of strikes after getting ahead 2-0. Well, White's been thrust into a bigger role with the Astros lately, and now as big a series and as meaningful a series as he's played in. September baseball in Fenway against a team that has been the best in baseball all year. David Price has not been pinpoint with his command to the last 3 batters. He walked Bregman, went 3-2 on Correa before he dotted up a cutter to strike him out, looking to end the inning. And now he's 3-2 on Tyler White. Yuli will follow, and then Josh Reddick. I'm curious to see what the Shark does in this series. He's been so good for a stretch since the All-Star break, but Coming into Fenway, playing against these Red Sox, that kind of amps things up a little bit.
No, you're right. No, I mean, big league games are intense to begin with. You're going to have some good matchups at home, but obviously he's pretty comfortable at home. This is a hostile environment, and it's a playoff potential matchup.
Price able to get him swinging there. Third strikeout for Price.
Good changeup to finish off Tyler White, but doing a good job of avoiding that middle section of the plate. That's what we call the fat part. You're going to usually have some pretty good success. But we've seen in the past a lot of four-seam fastballs, a lot of cut fastballs to that inside corner, which sets up a pretty good 3-2 changeup.
Here's Yuli. Yuli takes one outside. With all the heroes in the postseason last year, Yuli Gurriel may have been a little overlooked, especially what he did in the ALDS. He was outstanding. And up the middle, base hit. Yuli likes facing these Boston Red Sox, and he takes an aggressive turn at first to make sure JBJ, Jackie Bradley Jr., gets the ball back in. ALDS numbers were phenomenal.
Well, he's getting back to a place where he feels comfortable. He's been swinging the bat well, period. But those are incredible numbers in that ALDS.
Nice to see Yuli with a smile as he and Alex Cintrone talk about things. And here's Josh Reddick.
I think AC had to remind him to milk the cow after that hit. Can't forget about that.
Oh, go on the road and all of a sudden the celebrations have to stay consistent. Well, when Josh was introduced, you may have heard your share of woos in the background. There's a good amount of orange here amidst the Fenway faithful.
No, there's a healthy representation of orange all over this ballpark, mostly behind that Astro dugout on the third base side. But this is a big weekend for the Houston faithful, whether you're a football or baseball fan up here in the New England area.
I've met a few people who are attending all 4 games. 3 here at Fenway and the game at Gillette Stadium on Sunday afternoon with the Texans. Reddick with a count of 2-0. Well, it's good to see. We see the Astros fans everywhere. This is one of the more difficult tickets in baseball. They sell out pretty much every night. As we mentioned, this will be 31 in a row, and for a weekend series in September with the 2 best teams, we knew this was a very hot ticket. Reddick with a foul. It's 2-1, and that caught Nora. Kind of stunned him a little bit.
No, that squared him up pretty good.
Ryan, the trainer, hasn't gotten out there yet.
Wow, got both of them. Ricocheted and caught that left ear, it looked like, of Honora. Not necessarily the ear, but the left side of that mask. Get that jaw, a little bit of whiplash.
Quinn Wolcott, the third base umpire, comes down to check on his crew chief.
It's a little extra care with Brian Honora back there behind home plate. Had some issues in the past, but it's good to see him back healthy behind the dish, doing a good job. He's going to shake this one off. With Josh Reddick up there, the shift is on, so StatCast AI, powered by AWS, is going to give you a pretty good idea of why. It's amazing how many of these shift numbers we see where only 17% of the baseballs are going to the opposite field. Therefore, more teams are employing that shift mentality.
Josh was the best in baseball last year, hitting against the shift.
Got a big hit in that ALDS going the other way.
He did. 2-2 the count. Had one that he chopped down the third baseline in that Minnesota series that worked against the shift. Nobody had a better plus minus when facing the shift than Reddick did last year. He's even on the count here, 2-2. Yuli on the go, and Reddick fouls one. Well, how about AJ?
A great jump.
He did get a great jump. He took a little strange route. He was on the infield grass as he started out, but it worked out for him.
Doesn't do it very often. Give him a little bit of break. That GPS is a little off. Got excited.
He did.
Got a great jump going on that first move. But all kidding aside, it's not a bad idea to run to the inside part of the diamond just in case he does pick off, because that's typically where the first baseman's going to break and try and create a lane to throw to second base to get the out.
Swing and a miss. Price able to strike out Reddick. 4 of the 5 outs tonight for Price. Run, strikeout.
David Price has been very good since the All-Star break. 1.62 ERA. A lot of the reason why is because he's basically cut his pitch repertoire down to 3 pitches: the fastball, cut fastball, and the changeup. Changeup getting hit a little bit. We saw him strike out Tyler White with it, but we've seen early in this game so far able to locate that fastball on both sides of the plate and cut that fastball in on the hands. He can actually backdoor that and lock up some right-handed hitters.
Here's Martin Maldonado taking one down.
And that's at 86 to 88 mile an hour is that cut fastball.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten up to 93 with the fastball this evening.
Yeah, the curveball's pretty much gone away. Throw that cutter a lot more to righties. He'll throw that 2-seam fastball a lot more to lefties. Maldonado takes another cutter. This one catches the plate. It's 1-1.
Going to that outside corner a little more consistently.
Since the break, he has a 1.62 ERA, so it's worked for him. And the Red Sox have won each of his last 9 starts, going all the way back to the beginning of July. Now it's 1-2 as Maldonado misses the fastball. Price facing the Astros for the 2nd time this year. Gave up 3 runs in 6 innings his first time. Back on June the 2nd. Pitched very well against the Astros in the postseason last year in the ALDS out of the bullpen. 2-2 the count.
Fans wanted it. A good call by Brian O'Nora.
The way he stood up, I think fans were expecting the call 3rd strike zone. Towards the middle, Kinsler gloves, steps on the bag, and that'll do it for the Astros. Yuli with a hit, and 1 man left on base.
Apologize. We are back here in Boston. A little bit of issue with the home plate umpire, Brian O'Nora. We are in the bottom of the second inning. Red Sox are leading 1-0, but Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire, took a foul tip last inning. Shook him up a little bit, and he met with the Boston Red Sox trainer in between innings, and I think they finally came to the conclusion that it might be good for him to step out of this ball game. Was shook up a little bit, and currently right now they have one of the umpires, looks like it may be James Hoy, who has gone back underneath to put on the gear and get himself back behind home plate. But this is a replay. Foul tip by Josh Reddick. Ricocheted off Leon, the Boston Red Sox catcher, but it caught the left side of Brian O'Nora, shook him pretty good. He stayed in the game, but this is in between innings. He has been the unfortunate recipient of some injuries behind home plate in his career, but they made the choice to pull him out of this ball game. Hopefully things are all right for Brian O'Nora moving on.
Yeah, it didn't look right from the start, and then he stayed in, and then just watching his actions last inning, that non-call of the potential third strike on Maldonado, he kind of stood up, and it wasn't a normal look. Yeah. What a home plate umpire normally does on a ball call. Like, he stood up and kind of moved his arm, and then you're like, all right. And all three umpires made sure they came in after that last inning.
Well, that's just us watching a game right now. I guarantee you those three other guys that were in the field noticed the same thing you did and said, hey.
And something doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And so why take any chances? Brian O'Nora is going to leave the game. So let's go back to it. It was a 1-2 pitch. It was inside on Maldonado. It was a correct call, but just his actions here, he stands up and he's, ugh.
Yeah, you can almost see that he's trying to shake it out a little bit.
Yeah, like something's not quite where it normally is on a call of a ball. So we'll have a little delay. It could be anywhere from like 3 minutes to, I guess, 8 minutes for an umpire to get the full gear on behind the plate when they go back to the umpire's room. So we're going to take a timeout. Garrett Cole is still not warming up at this point. He knows this could be a little extended delay. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Red Sox lead on a sacrifice fly, 1-0. Currently lead the Oakland A's by 3.5 games. The A's are kicking off a series later on tonight as they will be taking on the Texas Rangers. Big series for a lot of reasons. Obviously, we have just a little more than 3 weeks to go, so every game huge. But the Red Sox are trying to get things wrapped up too. Both these teams think they may be matching up again in the postseason.
No, I think you said it right out of the chute when we did our open. When you said ALDS matchup from last year, two best teams in baseball. This should be an American League Championship Series to see who goes to the World Series. I think if everything plays out appropriately, the Red Sox have a chance to make history in a legendary franchise like this as far as wins are concerned throughout the season. So these guys are looking to finish out strong. That magic number a little bit smaller for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, just 4 for them to get to the postseason, and then 13 for them to win the American League East. They also only have to go 9-12 their last 21 games to set their new franchise record for most wins, already with 97. That would put them at 106. And right now, the way things shake out, if you're the 2 seed as opposed to the second wild card, that is such a huge difference.
No, I completely agree. The wild card is a fascinating thing in Major League Baseball, allowing some opportunities for teams to play in. But I'm not too sure too many teams want to go out there to New York and play in against that ball club in that ballpark. But playing against the Indians would benefit the Houston Astros. They played well against the Central period, much like everybody else in baseball. But I think the matchup is a little more favorable this season, because we know that they're not going to be able to catch up to the Boston Red Sox for that #1 seed.
Julia, what was the vibe of the clubhouse or the guys in general getting ready for this big series of Fenway?
Well, every time they come to Fenway Park, there's a little amped up, a little more so than maybe some other ballparks. A lot of guys just like playing in this environment. Sometimes it's hostile, sometimes it's just loud. In this case, there's a lot of Astros fans, but they've actually been talking about this series going back to post-game a couple of days ago, something the players don't normally do or get asked about series that far in advance, but they know how big it is. They were looking forward to the opportunity to play a team that was in first place, a team where they know these guys very well. They're watching what kind of numbers they're putting up this season as well. So they were looking forward to that. Plus, the team that they saw earlier this year, guys, it wasn't the same. For both the Astros and the Red Sox, we've seen a lot of changes in those. Red Sox weren't exactly healthy earlier. So this is a better idea of why these two teams are so good and why they're at the top of their division right now. Should be a fun weekend.
It really should. And if you're just tuning in and you're wondering why we're not watching baseball right now, Ryan O'Nora, the crew chief, had to go underneath the stands. He was hit by a foul in the last inning and had to leave the game. So they are going to a new home plate umpire. When you match up these two teams, Astros on the road have been the best in baseball, and the Red Sox at home have been the best. So strength versus strength.
Really is. It's a lot of fun to watch and dig inside these numbers. The Astros on the road putting up 5.5 runs per game in comparison to 5.8 for the Boston Red Sox. That ERA, though, is the huge difference for the Houston Astros. They really made it an issue this offseason to go out there, and I was actually surprised when I heard Jim Crane saying, hey, we're going to go out and get us somebody else in that rotation. They end up with Garrett Cole. Yeah. To go with Justin Verlander when we heard both their names at the trade deadline last year. So strong gets stronger, and they obviously knew that their offense was good enough to put up enough runs to go out there and win ball games. But how do you keep that opposing offense down? You go out and get more pitching, and that's what the Astros did.
During this delay, interesting to watch what the guys are doing in the infield, probably in Spanish, having a nice little discussion. Alex's Spanish is outstanding. And then the outfield is, you got the guys in center, Reddick and Marisnik. George has been hanging out by the bullpen, kind of dancing to some Earth, Wind and Fire earlier.
Can you blame him?
It's just George being George. Yeah, so those two guys are hanging out in center. George has got some water. He's got his bullpen guys helping him out there. So,
yeah, it's turned into a little bit of a human rain delay with the umpires switching positions.
A lot of the umpire rooms are closer to the field than the one here at Fenway. This one's down a little bit on the left field side. Jake in center. We haven't seen that in a while, Julia.
That's right. It's good to have Jake Marisnik in that starting lineup. He's always looking for opportunities to get in there and help his team. He's always in the middle of something, too. All the positive things that go on for the Astros. We happen to see Jake right there. But with Garrett Cole on the mound, it does make sense with the amount of strikeouts, but also the amount of fly balls that he gets. And, of course, the big area in center field. You heard him, AJ, talking about that as well in this particular ballpark, how they have to be ready for the way the balls play off that green monster, also the way that the bullpen plays in right field. Very interesting, unique center field. They have to be very active, and that's exactly what Jake Marisnik is.
Well, we do see Garrett Cole heading out to the mound, so that is a sign that the Astros have learned we are close to restarting. It's going to end up being a little bit closer to a 10-minute delay as James Hoy now has the gear on and will be ready to go shortly. So it'll be a 3-man umpiring crew for the rest of this game. Usually baseball usually does a pretty good job of getting somebody in the next day if in fact Ryan O'Nora can't go tomorrow. But Hoy will take over here in the bottom half of the second inning, and Garrett Cole will begin his warm-up tosses, and also he'll be handed the lineup card.
Our Best in Texas Power Pitcher is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Garrett Cole on the bump for the Houston Astros. Seems fitting that we talk about him and his 240 4 strikeouts now after striking out Xander Bogaerts. Most in team history through the first 28 starts are those 243. It's been a lot of fun to watch him, and he is that addition that Jeff Luhnow wanted to add to this rotation. Some say the rich get richer, but it was a great addition. We knew he was going to be good, but I don't think Todd, I, or Julia really anticipated him going out there and putting up these prodigious strikeout numbers that he is this year.
We could have never imagined it would be this big of a total. He's never struck out more than 1 inning in his career.
Yeah, jumping that strikeout per 9 number up to 12 plus.
And another veteran move for Garrett. The umpires were conferring and they changed the lineup card. In general, when you warm up for a game, the home plate umpire is behind the dish. Garrett waited for James Hoy to get the lineup card, to get behind the plate, and then start his warm-up tosses, because he's like, I want to make sure you're seeing my stuff, not just for the first time when we go for real.
Yeah, get your eyes right.
So here we go.
It'll be interesting to see how David Price bounces back, or if they give him a couple extra pitches, because he's just been sitting over there in that Red Sox dugout for this inning so far.
Turned out to be a little more than a 10-minute delay, and we are ready for baseball to resume. Mitch Moreland facing Garrett Cole, and Cole drops in a pitch just off the edge. Red Sox leading 1-0. A couple of hits to start the game by Mookie Betts and Andrew Benintendi, and a sac fly by J.D. Martinez. Out of play. It's 1-2. Cole's second start of his career at Fenway Park, his 4th overall start against the Red Sox. Warnlin, Kinsler, first 2 guys in this inning. Cole's had success against these 2. And he gets a strikeout there on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone. ARP take on today. Garrett Cole takes on Ian Kinsler. And so far, Kinsler in his career 2 for 22. Also 6 strikeouts in that mix. A 13-minute delay to start this inning, and Cole misses to Kinsler. Kinsler's done a nice job since coming over from the Angels to the Red Sox. Batting .310 with Boston. On the year, Ian hitting .251. This is that fastball. It's 1-1. And that's the pitch for a lot of the strikeouts. He's just been letting that 4-seam fastball eat. It's a lot of swings and misses even within the zone.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot all season long over with Pittsburgh. They were heavy on that 2-seam fastball, but the 4-seam fastball has been the one that has really gotten Garrett Cole to that elite strikeout level.
Carlos Correa puts away the pop-up off the bat of Kinsler for the second out of the inning. Now bring up Eduardo Nunez. Nunez has always hit well against the Astros. Has a career OPS against Houston of over 1,000, 1,077. And breaks his bat. The barrel goes down the third base line. The ball goes to Correa, and Garrett Cole, after the long delay, has a strong 1-2-3 inning. This is H-Town Rundown presented by Chenier. This family-friendly 5K and 10K run takes place on Saturday the 29th with proceeds benefiting both organizations. To register, visit astros.com/run. Astros down 1-0 as we head to the third. Jake Marisnick will lead things off, and then the top of the order facing David Price. Good to see Jake getting a start. His last 19, as you see below his season numbers, have been very solid. 346 with 4 home runs during that stretch. Really explain why Jake got the start tonight. Getting a chance to face the lefty David Price. Nice bonus as well. And he sends one to left field, but this is playable, and Andrew Benintendi doesn't have to move very far for the first out. Astros with 1 hit first time through the lineup. Also 1 walk issued by Price. The hit by Yuli and the walk to Alex Bregman. Here's George. Springer popped up on the first pitch he saw in the first inning. Time he takes one off the plate. George came off a nice homestand. 368 on the homestand. Since coming off the DL in 14 games, George batting .327. It's a strike there. It's 1-1. Mentioned Price working with the extended 9 days rest after being hit by a line drive. They were without Price and Chris Sale here the last 8 or 9 days. Chris Sale will be pitching again after this series on Tuesday. Alex Cora will have Sale go a couple of innings or 40 pitches in their next series against the Toronto Blue Jays on Tuesday, and then maybe another 3 starts beyond that. Trying to ramp him up in terms of pitches and innings to the postseason. Called third strike on Springer. David Price has himself 5 strikeouts so far. 2 outs into the third.
5 strikeouts, 3 of them looking all on the fastball. Pitches inside on 2 strikes as far as fastballs are concerned are pretty tough, because a lot of times hitters will be trying to protect that outside corner or protect against off-speed pitches. If you're able to locate your fastball in with 2 strikes, you have a tendency to get some of those called looking.
Now here's Altuve. He did get called out on a 3rd strike his first time up. Jose coming off a 171 homestand. Game number 16 back for Jose. The team was 12-3 since he's been back. And now a 2-0 count. Cutter misses the edge. It's 3-0. Altuve snapped a career-long hitless streak in his last game with a double in his 3rd at bat on Wednesday. Also drew a couple of walks and scored a couple of runs. Rio pitches a strike. Altuve still 3rd in the American League in batting, but he's at .318 right now and has a little ways to go to catch JD Martinez and Mookie Betts, who both came in at .335. Now the count's full.
3-1 counts that David Price has had a couple times in this game already. He's thrown the fastball. That one elevated, gets past Jose Altuve. But there was a 3-2 count against Tyler White. He got the changeup.
Call 3rd strike. Price strikes out 2 an inning for the first 3 innings and leads 1-0.
Astro, and Blummer talks with AJ Hinch about the state of the Astros after his contract extension. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the post-game show, only on AT&T Sportsnet. Garrett Cole gets back to work after a quick inning. One of the things he's trying to work on or get better at here in these last few starts of the regular season is that slider, working on that pitch, but he's been working on it for some time, guys. He did say in that last start against Anaheim, it was starting to come around, felt better about it. But that is the focus for Garrett down the stretch, trying to get himself in a place where he was pitching so well, like early in the season, April, when he was unhittable. Guys.
Yeah, he really was unhittable back then. It looked like he was finishing the slider a little better in that last start against the Angels, when he struck out 9 in 5 2/3 innings. Here he'll face Sandy Leon, the number 8 hitter in the Boston lineup. Garrett struck out a couple so far in the first 2 innings. And he's quickly ahead here, 0-2. Leon tried to just punch one down the third baseline, almost ended up with a base hit.
Yeah, that almost turned into a pretty good emergency hack.
Slider, Julia talked about, picked up the last 2 outs of the second inning, getting Kinsler to fly out to left and Nunez to ground out to short. Fastball in, it's 1-2.
Shift again being employed. Wonder what that number has to be on the opposite field side to keep everybody straight up.
On the ground, foul. Leon battling an 0 for 17 to start the night. And Garrett picks up a strikeout. Threw in the breaking ball there to get his first strikeout of the inning, his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Yeah, that curveball, the bottom just dropped out of it.
Cole continues to set new personal highs with every strikeout, now up to 246, and 2 behind his teammate Justin Verlander. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. Been a battle for Jackie to get that batting average back to 230. He's hit .308 his last dozen games, but really had struggled at the plate in the first half of the season. And it's 1-1. Didn't miss by much. Garrett would have liked that call. It's 2-1.
Yeah, it didn't miss.
No.
Just from my professional eye.
I'm going to go with you.
Let's see what MD Anderson thinks. Good fastball. Catching that up and in corner.
Now it's 3-1. Cole only needed 21 pitches to get through the first couple of innings. And he loses Jackie Bradley Jr. here. First walk allowed by Cole. Bradley Jr., another guy that will run. He's 13 of 14 in stolen bases this year.
What that does is gives you a base runner for the Boston Red Sox with the top part of their lineup coming up.
Well, the Red Sox offense this year in many ways mirrors exactly what the Astros did last year. Astros didn't run like this year's Red Sox team does, but in terms of run production, last year the Astros averaged 5.53 runs per game. This year's Red Sox team 5.43 runs per game. Last year the Astros led in average, slugging percentage, OPS, runs scored. Same thing for Boston this year. Then you put these two guys and their numbers here at Fenway Park together.
Yeah, power right-handed bats in this ballpark. What's interesting is JD Martinez does a good job of going the other way with a lot of power too.
JD has 65 of his 115 RBIs at home, including the one earlier tonight. And they still have a lot more home games than road games to go in their schedule. $15 out of their next 21, including tonight, here at home. Mookie fouls one out of play. Betts singled and scored a run in the first inning. And the run was set up when Mookie aggressively went first to third on a single to left. Not an easy place to go first to third on a base hit to left field here because the left fielder is so shallow. On the ground, that's a fair ball. Bregman has it. The long throw, not in time. Mookie getting down the line, barely beats the throw and has himself an infield hit.
With Alex getting in front of that baseball, that's what took an extra step to try and get himself in position to make that throw across the diamond. And with that extra step, it gives Mookie Betts that much time to beat out that ground ball.
Walking an infield hit, and now Cole will face Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi singled to left his first time up. Garrett's going to get a visit from Martin Maldonado.
And Correa. With Correa coming in, that gives you the impression that they might be talking about signs. There's definitely been a paranoia in Astro games this season, both by opponents playing against the Astros and the Astros concerned about signs being given from second base.
Jackie Bradley Jr. walked Mookie Betts a little roller down the third baseline. It turned into an infield hit. Into left field, Reddick is there. Benintendi retired. And that's 2 outs in the third. Now Garrett will face J.D. Martinez. J.D. accounted for the run his first time up with a sacrifice fly to right field. Big swing at 97.
Trying to elevate on him. Back in Minute Maid Park, that was that slider kind of tailing away from J.D. Martinez. All he did was redirect it, barely shooting it out of that right field, into that right field bleacher in Minute Maid Park. Not crushed, but very similar to the sac fly we saw here in that first inning to drive in the first run of this game.
Now Garrett ahead 0-2. Well, he's gone from a guy who was with the Astros from 2011 to 2013 and never really found his consistent stroke or power until after he left the Astros.
Spent a good time in Detroit hanging out with a pretty good hitter in Miguel Cabrera. And JD completely revamped his swing when he went over to Detroit. When he was with the Houston Astros as a prospect and early on in his career, he was really one of those first guys who really got that toe or that front foot down extremely early. Now he's kind of revised that, and now he's striding a little more traditionally. But it's got his timing down, and he's done a very good job of elevating and driving the ball to right center field. He's always been a very good student of the game. I had a rehab assignment my second go around with the Houston Astros, I believe in 09 or 10, when I had elbow surgery and went through Corpus Christi and met JD Martinez for the first time. And he was one of the few guys that throughout my entire career that actually kept a notebook tracking every AB that he had. He would have the AB, come back to the notebook, write down the pitches and make a couple notes on what happened and move on.
Well, there are not many nicer guys in baseball. He's gone from prospect to now one of the best and most feared hitters in all of the game.
Well, he is a great guy, great teammate.
He's made it happen here with the Red Sox coming over for the first year. Putting up monster numbers that could end up with serious MVP consideration. Cole with a count of 2-2. JD was another guy that when he was moved last year in mid-July, like Justin Upton, the writing was on the wall for Justin Verlander that the Tigers were going to try and kind of reset the process. And Justin wanted to win, and that helped him decide to accept the deal to the Astros, and the rest, as you know, is history. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Strength on strength, and Cole wins that one. 4 strikeouts for Garrett.
100 doubles and 200 RBIs since 1920. Hank Greenberg, Chuck Klein, Ted Williams, Alex Rodriguez, and Evan Longoria. That bottom line shows that Alex Bregman only needs one more double to get to those numbers in 341 games, which would tie himself with the splendid splinter.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing when you were mentioned with Teddy Ballgame. And his family has a history with Ted Williams. Grandfather involved with the Washington Senators and their subsequent move to Texas. Alex in his young career putting together some remarkable numbers, and especially here over the last month or so. See if he can get something going against David Price and the Red Sox. Last night Alex saw 4 outfielder defensive alignment. Tonight he's seeing 3 infielders on the left side. Their last game Wednesday night he saw 4 outfielders. No place to put an extra outfielder in left field here.
Put him up on that ladder out there on the Green Monster.
Just hang out on the ladder. Hope he hits one close. Well, this is the same count Alex saw last time. He has not chased anything from Price outside of the zone. That's in play.
So get up there, especially in this 3-1 count right now.
He hits the ladder.
Oh my.
No, he popped it up. Right side, long run for Kinsler, but plenty of hang time on the pop-up, and they're one away. David Price has been good so far. He's only allowed 1 hit in 3 1/3 innings. Price did very well against the Astros last October, facing them in Game 2 of the ALDS at Minute Maid Park. 2 2/3 innings of 1-hit baseball, no runs, and then 4 innings here at Fenway in Game 3. There was a day off in between, but in Game 3 he went 4 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball. Now so far in 3 1/3 he's allowed just 1 hit and 1 walk, and nobody has reached second base. Here's Carlos Correa. See if Carlos can get things rolling. He struck out on a called 3rd strike his last time up.
No player does more, presented by HEB. Carlos Correa, 10 regular season games here at Fenway, 5 home runs. Hitting .425, 9 RBIs at OPS, a beautiful 1336. Talked about some of the numbers he has in places like Yankee Stadium and Fenway. Likes the big stage, but he's been scuffling coming into this series. You'd really like to see a turnaround right here in Fenway.
Said you were looking for a little more decisiveness. Have you seen some better swings tonight?
Yeah. When things aren't going right and you're struggling, you can't do everything at once. So I'd like to see him get on the fastball. And the only reason I want to see him get on that fastball is because David Price throws a heavy dose of fastballs and cutters, very similar in velocities. But I'm just, to be honest, I don't know how Carlos feels about it, but I have a hard time watching a guy as good as Carlos Correa take fastballs over the fat part of the plate. I'd like to see him attack those and have pitchers get away from the fastball because he swung them off the fastball.
Price likes that cutter on the outside corner, and he tries to dial up a fastball on the outside corner. Julia?
You guys talking about some ABs here. AJ Hinch was asked, as far as September goes, what's the focus for this month? What would you like to have the team improve on? And he said, I just want everyone to be more selective. I want them to have better pitch selection up there. And if we can just have some good ABs, have good base running, we'll finish exactly the way that we want to heading into hopefully a postseason run.
Now they come in on Carlos and they miss. It's 2-2.
And when I talk about approaches, or I talk about sitting on a pitch, or just approach in general, a lot of times, well, every time, it's up until 2 strikes. When you get to 2 strikes, battle. That's all it is. But I want to see guys step in the box with the game plan, a la Alex Bregman, looking to do some damage against some pitches and get ready to hit.
Coming back in again on Carlos, and he pops 1 foul.
And that's a good job on a 2-strike count. He struck out previously on a fastball inside, but he was able to fight that one off and fight another pitch. And you start to, even if you just foul off a pitch on that inner third, it tells David Price, okay, I got him in the first AB. He's made the adjustment, got to that one pretty good. He has the option now to continue to pound him on the inside corner or try and mix it up on the outside. That's a pretty good spread of pitches.
They've gone inside on the last two, and now they might be looking back in there again. And Carlos sends one to center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. is there. Correa retired for the second out in the fourth.
Ball got in on him on 2 strikes, but I am much happier with that than the taken 3rd strike.
We've seen Correa and Altuve take 3 called 3rd strikes tonight. Here's Tyler White. Tyler struck out on changeup his first time up. White has not had much success against Boston in his career. Tyler just 1 for 20 against the Red Sox. Leon wanted it. It's 2-1, a little bit low, maybe outside. Price with 2 strikeouts in the first, the second, and the third. No strikeouts in this inning. And picks up the edge there. It's 2-2. Third strike, strikeout number 7 for Price. And the Astros down 1-2-3. That's 8 in a row. Julia Morales, very comfortable evening here in Boston. Astros and Red Sox, and what could be a preview of things to come in October. These two teams played each other last year, the final series of the regular season, and then here's Xander Bogaerts to lead off the fourth against Garrett Cole. Red Sox have 3 hits. Astros with just 1 so far. 2 of the 3 hits by Mookie Betts tonight against Cole. Garrett misses the lower part of the zone to start this inning. Garrett 4 strikeouts and a walk tonight. Bogart swinging his first time up. Two and two the count. A's are playing tonight. Game has not started yet on the West Coast. They have the Rangers in town for a 3-game series. A's took 2 out of 3 against the New York Yankees to stay 3.5 behind the Astros. Astros only gained 1 game during that sweep of the Twins. Astros have 22 games remaining. The A's have 21. A's will have an off day on Monday. The Astros will play Detroit that night. But the race should be fun to watch down the stretch. Boston has a 9.5 game lead over the Yankees, and they're close to at least wrapping up a magic number for a playoff spot. The Yankees have the exact same record coming in as the Astros at 87 and 53. Ball sent deep to center field. Jake all the way back, looking up. This ball is well struck and gone. Xander Bogaerts to deep center, way off the back wall. It is 2-0 Red Sox on Bogaerts' 20th home run of the year.
Looked like a hanging breaking ball. Big swing from Xander Bogaerts, 20th home run on the season. It's a very good hitting team, and that is a curveball that backs up and literally right down the middle. On a tee for Xander Bogaerts, and he blasted through that thing 109 miles an hour off the bat, estimated 432 feet away to center field.
So here's Mitch Moreland as the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead. Moreland struck out his first time up. Bogaerts joins J.D. Martinez and Mookie Betts in the 20 home run club. Mookie with 29, J.D. with 39, and now Bogaerts with 20. Astros and Red Sox have hit almost the exact same number of home runs coming into this game as Moreland grounds one to first. Healy will take it himself after showing Garrett the baseball. And there's one away.
Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the Astros September 14th through the 16th. Hispanic Heritage Weekend presented by Fiesta features street festivals, special pregame ceremonies, and more. For more info, visit astros.com/Hispanic Heritage.
Here's Ian Kinsler. Kinsler hits it well to right, but George Springer has it lined up and puts it away. Kinsler retired for the second out. Coming into this game, the Astros had hit 181 home runs, and they brought Boston Red Sox 182. Sox adding one more to their total, now have a 2 home run lead. But if you believe in using run differential as your gauge to who the best teams are in baseball, you are looking at the two best teams in baseball. Astros coming in slightly ahead of the Red Sox in run differential before tonight's game. Eduardo Nunez takes a strike. Nunez grounded out to short on one pitch his last time up. Astros coming in at plus 235. The Red Sox at plus 223.
Yeah, we talked about the offensive prowess of the Boston Red Sox. That leads to a lot of their run differential because they're able to put up some big numbers. On the Astros side, it's because the pitching does such a good job of shutting down opposing offenses. In a perfect world, you combine the 2017 Astros offense with the 2018 pitching staff, and you've got a ridiculous run differential number.
You might have 117 wins and break the record. Yeah, that season last year was remarkable. The Astros averaging more than 5.5 runs per game, and on the road it was almost 6 runs per game. Well, the Red Sox have always been that team that was the last in Major League Baseball to cross that threshold. 300 runs allowed, they were the 29th team. 400 runs allowed, they were the 29th team. And they crossed the 500 runs allowed threshold 2 Sundays ago. The Astros are sitting at 460 before today's play, so now 462. Into right field, Springer is there, and he puts it away. So after a leadoff home run, Garrett gets the next 3. Astros represented here at Fenway Park tonight.
Hey, bud, look at you.
A lot of fans in and around the city. Blummer mentioned it before. It's the combination Astros-Red Sox weekend series. And the Houston Texans kicking off their NFL season on Sunday against the New England Patriots. There's a lot of orange here tonight.
It's exciting to see. It's been a fun year all the way around to go out on these road trips and see how well the Astros are represented.
Here's Yuli Gurriel leading off. Astros trying to solve David Price. Yuli has the only hit of the game and hits this one pretty well, but he lines out to Mookie Betts to start the 5th. Yuli singled in the 2nd inning. That's the only hit for the Astros. That's now 9 in a row retired by Price. Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick struck out his first time up. Price has been almost all fastball cutters tonight. Just 9 changeups so far of his first 67 pitches. And he challenges Reddick here, who lost one into left field for out number 2. 3 pitches and 2 outs in this inning. The Astros World Champions commemorative brick program gives fans the option to customize a brick with a personal message that will line Champions Walkway at Minute Maid Park. For details and info, visit astros.com/bricks today. Well, Martin Maldonado, the veteran that he is, takes his time getting into the batter's box. Taps his cleats a couple of times and knows that David Price with 3 pitches in this inning. After Garrett Cole had to work a little bit last inning, you don't want to send him right back out there. And he'll take a pitch here for a strike. Price overall with good numbers in his career against the Astros. Tonight's his 10th start. He also appeared twice out of the bullpen in the postseason. And his ERA coming in 2.95. Here at Fenway was 0.96 before tonight and moving down as he's ahead of Maldonado 1-2. Maldonado grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. Astros still do not have a runner reaching second base or further tonight. Price up to 8 strikeouts through 5, halfway home with the Red Sox leading 2-0. Sportsnet is brought to you by Rooms to Go, where you get the lowest prices every day and delivery is fast and easy. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. First game of this showdown between 2 first-place teams, and it's been all David Price early on as he has gone 5 innings of 1 hit, 1 walk baseball. Garrett Cole's allowed a couple of runs through 4. That's where we are heading to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Cole allowing a sac fly in the 1st inning and a solo home run to lead off the 4th. The sac fly off the bat of J.D. Martinez and Xander Bogaerts with the home run. Now face number 8 hitter Sandy Leon to start the bottom half of the 5th inning. Garrett struck out Leon his first time up.
But one of the nastier curveballs we've seen.
Cole, after wrapping up last inning, kind of motioning on his way to the dugout with Martin Maldonado, knew he kind of cast out that curveball and left it up to Bogaerts and was a little frustrated with himself.
Well, that's a tough thing about facing the Boston Red Sox. You've almost got to be perfect, because if you do make a mistake, these guys have a tendency to beat up on it.
Swing and a miss, ball in the dirt. Maldonado will chase it down, has to make a strong throw, and it's into the runner. Yuli unable to handle it. It'll be a strikeout and a wild pitch to allow Leon to reach first.
It's unfortunate when a strikeout leads to a base runner, but that was another filthy curveball to get Leon with the swing and miss, but bounced far enough away. That throws a little bit more on line. They do get the out on Leon, but Yuli Gurriel gutsy leaving that arm out in front of Leon running across the bag.
Garrett picks up his 5th strikeout, but allows a base runner in the process. Now facing Jackie Bradley Jr. Bradley Jr. walked his first time up. Cole now with 248 strikeouts. He's now matched evenly with his teammate Justin Verlander for the league lead. Verlander's next start will come Monday in Detroit, facing his former team as a visitor in Comerica Park for the first time. At that point, possibly both he and Cole will be over 250 strikeouts each. Swing and a miss. Bradley goes down on 3 pitches. 6 strikeouts for Cole. 1 out in the 5th.
MLB At Bat is your #1 Astros app. Customize your experience with home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB At Bat today.
Here's Mookie Betts. Mookie has 2 of the 4 hits for the Red Sox tonight. Single up the middle and a little dribbler down third base, and he was able to beat out. Garrett Cole came into this season with a career strikeout high of 202. Did that 3 years ago with the Pirates in 208 innings.
Wow. Mookie Betts, pull monster. 11% of the time his last 100 batted balls put in play going the other way.
Mookie trying to become the first Red Sox player to lead the league in hitting since Wade Boggs in 1988. Boggs hit .366 that year. Mookie now with a 2 for 2 tonight is at .338. And 3 for 3. Cole's allowed 5 hits tonight, 3 of them from Mookie Betts.
curveball hasn't been in some ideal spots. And they've led to hits. Really seems like it's been one extreme to the next. Either they're strikeout curveballs or nasty called strike curveballs, or the ones they're getting hits on have just been left up out over the plate.
Well, now he'll face Andrew Benintendi's hit the ball to the left a couple of times tonight. Base hit, he's also flied out to left. This one on a line, Reddick. Making sure he keeps that ball out of the lights. Number 2.
Got a pitch by pitch. JD Martinez is in a similar situation with 2 outs and 2 on. Garrett Cole attacked early on with fastballs up to get ahead in the count. Then went to the turbo slider at 92 miles an hour, trying to get the chase down and away, and eventually ride that fastball up and away at 98 miles an hour to get the strikeout of JD Martinez, who is very good at hitting with runners in scoring position in 2 outs.
As you said, the exact same situation, and Garrett was amped up on that sequence, throwing those 92 mile an hour sliders and a 98 mile an hour fastball. Let's see how this head-to-head matchup goes.
It'll be interesting. Does JD Martinez adjust to that? Does he try and lay off the fastballs up to maybe get back in the count, because he elevated out of the zone for a little bit of chase to get behind? And does Garrett Cole continue to try to throw that fastball up in the zone?
Bounces it in there. Maldonado with the block.
Some of the numbers this season, Alex Bregman has been very good for the Astros with runners on base. JD Martinez equally as good. .355 batting average, is slugging, getting it done at .675. Alex has been one of those guys, along with Yuli, usually high average in risk situations, but it's been the slugging that's really separated Alex Bregman.
.97 with a challenge fastball, and it's 1-1. Part of the cat-mouse game we've seen, as you documented the pitch by pitch. He started him out with a curveball to start this at bat, and then went right back to the heater after bouncing the curveball for ball 1. First couple of at bats, it was all fastball sliders to JD. Bringing the heat here. 98, it's 2-1. In addition to all those power numbers, JD also leads in base hits with 170. Ooh, that should have been a strike.
Got a whole lot of the play, didn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Now it's 3-1.
Yeah, big situation. You go to a 3-1 count instead of a 2-2 count. That is a huge difference.
Especially with this guy sitting there with 2 runners on. Pitch 4 looks good, but was called outside. That one's off, and the bases are loaded. Bases are filled up for Xander Bogaerts. A strikeout wild pitch led to the opening base runner. 1 out later, Mookie Betts single to center. Another out later, a walk to JD Martinez, and now Bogaerts bats with 2 outs and the bases filled. Hit one over 400 feet to the back wall his last time up. He has been a monster this year with bases loaded. He's 8 for 12 with 3 doubles and 3 home runs.
ball game. He took a hanging breaking ball to center field. There's some of your analytics. 109 off the bat, estimated 432.
Almost a third of his career high 90 runs batted in have come in this situation. 28 runs batted in this year with bases loaded. Cole hasn't had a whole lot of these situations this year. Fourth time all year he has faced a bases loaded situation. And a huge spot in this game. It's 2-0 Red Sox. David Price has looked locked in. I want to see that deficit much more than 2 right now. Called strike. Bogarts doesn't like it. It's 1-2.
He's got every right to complain.
Maybe the Astros got that one back from the JD call.
Let's hope it pays off.
He got him. Garrett Cole strands the bases loaded and picks up strikeout number 250 on the season.
Hundo.
100 miles an hour for his 250th strikeout of the year. Brought to you by Nissan. Here are tonight's clues. Young, in quotes enough, knows the podium atop the leaderboard. You have a guest on tonight's Name That Astro contest presented by Nissan. Send it to @ATT Sportsnet SW. One of the more unique ballparks in America. Hallowed grounds of Fenway Park, where tonight the Astros have not mounted much offensively against David Price, but see if they can build on some Garrett Cole heat from that last inning here offensively. Jake Marisnick leads off. He flied to left his first time up.
It was a big situation that Garrett Cole worked himself out of with the bases loaded. It'd be nice to see the Astros answer back with a run, if not more.
Jake pops one up, foul territory, first base side, and Moreland puts it away for out number 1. David Price is rolling along. He has retired 12 in a row since a single by Yuli Gurriel in the second inning. Back to the top of the order, third time around, George Springer will bat. Springer's popped up and struck out looking.
It's really that second time through the order against David Price where you feel like you've got a chance to get him. The average against him the first time is 213, the second time close to 270. But the third time around, he usually gets back in a little bit of a groove, and the average drops to 216. But you like to see the Astros, having seen him twice, make the adjustment and get to him.
8 strikeouts tonight, 5 of them called third strikes.
5 of the 8 called.
Yeah.
Man.
Price has been pretty close to the zone all night long.
Well, and that just tells you that he's kept these guys far enough off balance that they can't pull the trigger on some of these pitches near the zone. He's either mixing up his pitches well enough, or he's making the right pitches on the edges where these guys feel like they might be balls, but they're not protecting in that 2-strike count. Watch him flex that left hand, make a fist with it.
He might feel that thumb a little bit from various points of the season. Takes that pitch in the dirt. Still kind of flexing that hand in between pitches. George spent some time with the thumb injury on the 10-day DL. Came back, and then his quad bothered him. Kept him out for another week. Not sure he's ever going to be quite 100%. His threshold for pain is one of the highest tolerances on this team.
Talked about a couple of the mistakes that Garrett Cole has made to lead to a couple of the runs for the Boston Red Sox. This guy right here, David Price, has yet to make one.
Two and two the count. Going back to the postseason last year, Price is riding a 12-inning scoreless streak against the Astros. And he picks up another call, third strike. Springer goes down looking. That's 9 strikeouts for Price.
Back in that ALDS 2017, it was a cut fastball again, was very effective for him. Working fastball, cutter, the occasional changeup. You can see coming out of that bullpen with a very live left arm. Bit of a rough season. Chirping at Marwin Gonzalez after that strikeout.
Jose Altuve pops one down the line and left, and this one just gets into the crowd. Price was a huge weapon for them out of their bullpen. Game 3, the Astros scoring early on the Red Sox. Looked like they might sweep that series, but Price and the rest of the bullpen helped keep the Red Sox in that game. They would eventually win, and then game 4 with those 4 shutout innings. Altuve has been called out on strikes twice tonight. You don't see that very often. And this at bat, he has swung at the first 2 pitches, and he's down to the count 0-2. Altuve had good numbers against Price coming in, but Price has made Altuve look bad in a couple of at-bats tonight. Jose was 8 for 22 against the Red Sox lefty before tonight. Season high in strikeouts for Price is 10. That came 4 starts ago in Baltimore on the 11th of August. He's got 9 tonight in a 1-2 count. On the ground, third base. Nunez has it. Sidearm throw in time. Price is now retired 14 in a row. Another 1-2-3 inning. Four pitchers, Garrett Cole has added his name to quite a list. J.R. Richard twice, Mike Scott once, Nolan Ryan once, and now Garrett Cole. 250 strikeouts or more.
That is awesome. Going to see Justin Verlander on that list here pretty soon after his next start, but what an accomplishment for Garrett Cole. 202 was his previous high, now 250 and counting.
Becoming a strikeout machine up there on the hill. You picked up 3 strikeouts last inning. Unfortunately, one of those 3 reached base on a wild pitch. Now starts out Mitch Moreland with a 1-1 count. Garrett with 7 strikeouts on the night. Moreland breaks his bat, grounds one into the shift. Carlos Correa is there. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Well, you mentioned Garrett has had to be close to perfect tonight because the guy he's been matched up against, David Price, is not allowed a base runner since 1 out in the 2nd inning. Garrett's at 85 pitches as he faces Ian Kinsler. Kinsler is flied out to left and also lined out to right.
Talking a lot about those strikeout numbers for Garrett Cole. Saw an interesting number today. The fact that he has 41 consecutive starts now with at least 5 strikeouts or more.
How about that?
The guy that's in 2nd place is DeGrom. He's only done it 20 times. 41 consecutive starts of 5 strikeouts or more for Garrett Cole.
It's been remarkable to watch him and his consistency this year. When he has started, the Astros have won 20 games. when David Price has started. The Red Sox have won 20 games. They're both tied for second in the American League behind Luis Severino at 22 in his starts. From the very first time we saw him in spring training, we marveled at how he goes about his business. He's got easy 97, 98. He's been fun to watch.
Well, he's been an absolute pleasure to watch. He's a good guy to be around. He's an interesting conversation, but again, I can't say enough. I knew Garrett Cole was good when he was in college. I knew he deserved to be that #1 pick. He was the ace of that Pittsburgh Pirate rotation. But to come over here and be as dominant as we've seen him be is absolutely probably one of the more fun things to watch throughout the course of this season. Him and Alex Bregman.
Yeah, and not quite at the Bregman level in terms of how much he eats, breathes, and sleeps baseball, but
yeah,
he might be on the pitcher's level the most closest to Bregman.
That's a good point.
Who's always talking about how he can get better. And all the guys work hard. But this guy he's always searching. What's next? How can I do things just that much better? Try to get Kinsler to chase that fastball up, and it's now 3-2.
And watching him consistently too, the efficiency of that delivery that he has and repeat the delivery is incredible.
Kinsler was not expecting that pitch, takes the slider for a called strike. That's now 8 for Cole and 2 outs in the 6th.
Slider at 89 miles an hour. Yeah, you've got to be a pretty good hitter, and you can see kind of the reaction of Ian Kinsler. It's the recognition in your skull that just doesn't translate to the hands quick enough to fight that pitch off. That was a great pitch. Another one.
Good slider there to start the at-bat for Eduardo Nunez. Cole now 251 strikeouts. I already showed you at the beginning of this inning that Cole became the 5th pitcher in franchise history with 250 or more strikeouts. He and Justin Verlander is a tandem approaching 500 strikeouts together, and that would be approaching an Astros record of 503. This ball to center field, and Jake Marisnick puts it away. Good inning for Garrett Cole. Ground out, strikeout, fly out.
The day for him in the top of the 8th, tying the game with a leadoff solo shot over the monster right there, silencing Fenway Park. The Astros kept tacking on. They would need those extra runs as well. And they got it done. But if you remember from that game, you remember the home run, but you also remember watching Bregman's reactions from there on out. His team was having so much fun in that first round of the playoffs. There it is, the scream. And he said that was a thing in 2017. Could not carry that over to 2018, guys. And that is where we got the stare. They did say they had something planned. We're still looking for that, TK.
Yeah, we haven't had much to celebrate, Julia. Some Astros fans right behind Julia. The scream in 2017 turns into the stare in 2018. Bregman will lead things off against David Price, who was retired 14 in a row. Only base runners he's allowed tonight. A 2-out walk to Bregman in the first. And a single with 1 out to Yuli Gurriel in the second. Astros have not had anybody reach second base tonight. It has been a dominant performance from Price as both bullpens starting to get going for the first time. Ryan Brazier warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. Bregman sharply past the third baseman Nunez down to the left field corner. Alex digging for 2. How about it? Bregman starting off this inning with a double. Number 48 on the year.
Of course, he's starting with a double. It's a good start to this inning. The Astros needed a spark, and it's going to be Alex Bregman again. Did a good job of getting on top of that fastball and raking it past Nunez at third base. High exit velo, and Nunez kind of falling away from that ball, lead to that double.
Now to bring up Carlos Correa. Correa has seen in 2 at-bats a steady diet of cutters in and 2 seamers away. And he is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Takes a pitch inside for ball 1. 100th career double for Alex Bregman.
Missed tying Ted Williams by 1 game for that 100th career double.
But even to be in the same sentence as Ted Williams.
That's a good thing.
Alex now at 29 home runs, 48 doubles. Another game where he's been on base multiple times. See if the Astros can get something going finally against Price as Correa takes another cutter for a strike. It's 1-1. Cutter comes in around 89. That 2-seam fastball around 93. Carlos does have 1 career home run against Price. Up and away, 3-1.
Be ready.
Well, we said the swings have started to look better from Correa.
And he's been in this count before and gotten a fastball and just missed it. I'd like to see Carlos with the same mentality, aggressive on that fastball. The fastball today has been averaging 92 miles an hour from David Price. Enough that these guys should be able to handle it. The cut fastball at 89, 3-mile-an-hour difference and a little bit of movement.
Got the cutter in on him.
That was a cutter. You're right.
Carlos loves hitting here. We've documented that. His numbers at Fenway Park as good as any of the road stadiums. It's been a little bit of a battle for Carlos since coming back from the DL. 24th game back from that back injury that put him on the DL. picks up his 10th strikeout. That is a season high, matching a start in August in Baltimore.
Just off that outside edge, but again, in 2 strike counts, you're on the defense as it is. You try and fight. Emergency hack, dial 911, whatever it takes. Try and extend that AB, or maybe try and shoot one the other way. There's nobody out in that inning. You've got the runner at second base. Say you just hit a measly ground ball to that right side. You move that runner up 90 feet and get him 90 feet closer to home. And to get back to what we were talking about, Alex Bregman, career games it took them to achieve the career 50 home runs, 100 doubles, 200 RBIs. Alex Bregman getting on that list right behind Ted Williams at 342 games, just to kind of put things in context with some very good ball players throughout the history of the game.
4th all time in the last 100 years.
All time.
It's quite a group for Bregman to attach his name to, and now here's Tyler White, who has struck out twice tonight. And White fouls the cutter back. It's 0-1. Price has thrown Correa 2 really good cutters to strike him out tonight. But he's been doing a good job of working ahead for the most part. Correa is one of the few hitters who has had a 3-1 count a couple of times.
There you go, break up the rhythm a little bit. Price has been in a groove this entire ball game. Hasn't really been under duress.
Opening double by Alex Bregman. First runner to reach second base for the Astros tonight. Price approaching 100 pitches on the night. Coming back off that long layoff, he might be down to his final batter or 2. Inside, 2-1. Yuli Gurriel's hit the ball hard against Price twice tonight. This could be the final batter for David, with Yuli on deck. Three and 1. Second straight 3-1 count.
As a hitter, you basically know it's going to be the fastball or the cut fastball.
Price about to make his 100th pitch of the night.
Never mind, he's going to throw the changeup. Does not break that pitch out that often.
Got Tyler White on the changeup his first time up.
He was in that 3-2 count when he threw it, also when he got that strikeout. So does he double up on it and throw the changeup here? Because you could see that Tyler was bailing out, looking for that fastball or cut fastball in the inside corner to try and turn on it.
Ball 4. White draws a walk. Astros have the tying runs on board, and this will be a pitching change as Alex Cora comes out of the dugout to come get David Price. We mentioned Yuli has hit the ball hard against him twice tonight, and Cora is going to go to the bullpen. 2 on in a 2-0 game. Back after this.
Talking about Alex Bregman. We asked you tonight, after an unbelievable week, how has your opinion of Bregman's MVP chances changed? 61% going with yes, he is a top 3 candidate. 26 of you think he's up there, right there with JD Martinez. Boys in the booth, we'll have more on this. This conversation will continue throughout the weekend, guys.
Yeah, if he keeps getting extra base hits, it certainly will, as we have a new pitcher for the Red Sox in the game. David Price goes 6 1/3 innings tonight. Ryan Brazier comes in as the new pitcher.
Brazier throws hard on the season. This will be his 25th appearance. He has thrown 25 innings total. Great whip, under 1 and 23 strikeouts in 25 innings. He is a pretty good command guy, but averaging 97 miles an hour on his fastball.
Yuli drives one to left field. This ball's headed towards the monster, and it's off the wall. Bregman scores. Tyler White heading to third. Yuli to second. Safe. Astros down 2-1. Yuli taking a chance, trying to turn a single into a double. He's safe for now. The Red Sox may challenge.
How about Yuli getting it ready? Brazier comes in and challenges him immediately with a fastball, and he hammers it. They tried to bust him in, but Yuli does a good job of hitting high fastballs on the season. Rips this one off that left center field monster. Bregman's going to score easy in the little bit of a relay. I think Yuli would have been in there, but does he come off the bag with the tag?
Yeah, but he gets back.
Thank goodness. Ian Kinsler did not stay with him.
Well, the fact that Yuli didn't go back to the bag immediately tells me he thought he was initially maybe out. But we'll see. They are reviewing it.
Big moment in the game. Why not give it a chance?
Oh, it's a huge moment. It's either second and third, 1 out in a 1-run game, or it's a runner on third and 2 outs.
The tag is applied. They replayed it here on the big board in Boston. Not much of a reaction from fans watching.
Yuli took a chance. The play was right in front of him.
It was a great play by Jackie Bradley Jr. here in his home ballpark, playing it very nicely off that green monster that extends all the way almost to center field. He knew he wasn't going to have a chance, or as soon as he knew he wasn't going to have a chance, he went over there and played the carom nicely.
The only angle we're seeing on the big board is the angle you're going to see here, and I think Kinsler's blocking the view of where the glove is.
Well, the tag is on him. I feel when the tag gets to Yuli, he's already got his left hand on the bag. It's does this tag stay on long enough? But I don't think it does.
Now, once Yuli loses the bag and then regains it, I don't think he's out there. We're going to get a call right now. Yes, safe. Yuli stays at second. Astros down 2-1. And now the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second, and one out of the inning for Josh Reddick. Wow, the call was confirmed.
How about that?
There we go. Well, he's taken over from J.D. Martinez for the league lead in runners in scoring position batting average. Only one Astro had faced Brian Brazier before tonight, and that's the guy at the plate. Josh Reddick, who has one appearance against him and has a sacrifice fly. Oh, Reddick will bat here with White on third, Yuli on second. Infield back everywhere except for third base. And Reddick pops one up. Foul territory. Nunez Leon puts it away. That is a huge out. Out number 2.
No, that's a huge out because you stated that they were playing back on the infield, basically giving up that tying run. Pop out is best case scenario for the Boston Red Sox. There you see the middle of the infield. Those guys back there, they're just waiting for a ground ball and conceding the tying run for an out.
We're going to get a pinch hitter for Martin Maldonado. Tony Kemp is grabbed the bat and batting gloves, and he's going to head to the on-deck circle as the pinch hitter. So Kemp to hit here for Maldonado with 2 outs and 2 on in the 7th inning. Top 2 teams in all those categories with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, great numbers. That RBI number really jumps for the Boston Red Sox.
Now here's Tony Kemp.
Big spot. Not easy to come in here and pinch hit, especially a guy that's throwing 97 miles an hour. Bunt is always an option for Tony Kemp, too.
Checks his swing, pitch down low. Kemp 1 for 4 on the year as a pinch hitter.
Interesting to see. Brazier can be a little bit careful with first base open. I'm not saying they're going to pitch around Tony Kemp, but they're definitely going to challenge him and force him to try and swing his way on. But the pitching options, instead of just laying some fastballs in there.
Bounces in there. Nice cover by Leon. That could have been a tie game.
Big stop. A little unnecessary for Brazier to be powering a slider in there. But man, that was a great block.
So now Kemp with a 2-0 count. Well, Jake Marisnick's on deck, but there's also Brian McCann on the bench if you want to go to a pinch hitter. Marwin Gonzalez is also on the bench. He has not played since an oblique injury took him out of the lineup a couple nights ago. 3-0 to Kemp.
Huh.
Well, there is no batting cage nearby here at Fenway Park, so Brian McCann is in the dugout. He is ready to go if in fact Kemp reaches base. Strike.
Going the off speed. Showing Tony Kemp some respect. Yeah, there's no batting cage, but here in Fenway Park, there's barely enough room, and I don't know if they still do it, but we would set up an actual tee and a net in the middle of the clubhouse to take some swings to try and get loose.
Well, Kemp's seen 4 pitches, the last one on the outside corner at the knees. Single here would give the Astros a lead after being down the whole night. Full count. That's going to get the crowd revved up. Tony thought it was low, but it was at the knees for a strike. It's 3-2.
I personally enjoy the fact that you can have these moments in a regular season type situation because it can only add to the experience of playing the game under some duress. We saw that late in the season last year for the Houston Astros, playing some big series. But these are ABs and moments that you can really carry with you into the playoffs. And this is why you play.
Inside out swing, base hit down the left field line. 2 runs will score. Tony Kemp heads to second. He is safe. Astros lead 3-2.
Love it. Tony Kemp stepping up in a huge situation and getting a big hit. Also hustling himself into scoring position, but 2 out RBIs for the Houston Astros. 2 out lightning. Tried to bury that fastball in. Tony gets on his legs, pulls the hands in, and shoots it the other way. What a piece of hitting.
Thought he had drawn a walk on the 3-1 pitch. Instead, he's able to inside out a swing and double down the left field line. And here's Jake Marisnick. Astros had nobody reaching second base before this inning, and now they've taken a 3-2 lead. 2 of those runs charged to David Price, the last one to Ryan Brazier. A masterful start for David Price goes by the boards as he is now out of the game in a no decision, and the Astros have the lead. And fans are chanting, "Let's go Astros" at Fenway Park.
You can hear it. It's a distinct Astros. Oh my.
Ground ball to short, backhanded Bogarts in time, but Tony Kemp has given the Astros a 3-2 lead with a pinch hit double. A.J. Hinch slaps some 5 on the way back to the dugout. Astros lead, 7th inning stretch time. We're going to send it to Bart Ennis and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
Night, which is over now, but did a really nice job pitching for the second time at Fenway. Had to strike him out, throw him out earlier to help him get around some base runners, and did a nice job with those runners on later, getting some big strikeouts of J.D. Martinez and then Xander Bogarts in the 5th with the bases loaded. 8 punch outs tonight of those Red Sox. Nice matched up by Garrett as they go to the bullpen now, TK.
Yeah, right now Garrett's on the right end of this 3-2 lead as his team put up 3. He was going to come out either way because Colin McHugh was warming up when that inning started, and now Colin works with a 1-run lead.
Great outing by Garrett Cole. Colin McHugh on. Did pitch in that Minnesota series on the 3rd, went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, struck out 5, getting back in the swing of things that he had early on in the season where that fastball slider mix was working very well for him. Curveball's been effective lately also.
This is the same story that we saw in 2017 with Brad Peacock, a guy that moved from the rotation to the bullpen. Ryan McCann takes over behind the dish for the Astros after Maldonado was pinch hit for. And instead of looking for multiple innings or a long man in the pen, Colin McHugh has worked his way to the back end of the bullpen, very similar to what Brad Peacock did last year. McHugh has the 7th. Brock Holt is the pinch hitter here for Sandy Leon. Number 8 spot in the lineup, so the opposing managers hit for their catcher in the 8th spot. Maldonado pinch hit for by Tony Kemp, and now Holt to lead off the inning against Colin McHugh. Bounce foul on the breaking ball. It's 1-2. Well, nobody travels to visiting parks quite as well in this league as the Red Sox fans, and there are a lot of occasions where Red Sox fans will make themselves feel comfortable at a visiting ballpark where you can hear them. It's rare when the tables are turned, but you could hear Astros fans last half inning at Fenway Park in that "Let's Go Astros" chant.
Yeah, there's places that you travel to throughout the course of the season that you don't anticipate that. Wrigley Field, Yankee Stadium, Fenway is definitely one of those spots.
The passion that these fans have brought with them and the numbers that they have brought with them cheering on their Astros at Fenway is very impressive as Colin McHugh strikes out Holt to start the 7th. We've seen a good one tonight. Pitchers duel early, Garrett Cole and David Price, and now it's up to the bullpen.
Now that Astro orange has been all over the city since we've got here. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and they have showed up. Again, a great weekend for Houstonians to be in New England, but to hear them chanting in this ballpark makes you a little tingly.
Jackie Bradley Jr. 0 for 1 with a walk. Well, that last inning kind of came out of nowhere. The Astros didn't have anybody reach second base for the first 6 innings. And then 3 doubles in the inning. Bregman started it. Yuli Gurriel right in the middle of it with a double, knocking in Bregman, and then the big one, the pinch double by Tony Kemp to give the Astros the 3-2 lead. Bradley fouls one back. It's 2-1.
It's a big pinch hit, but just listen to the audio. This is in Fenway. This is not Minute Maid Park. Crowd went nuts.
That is rare.
Yeah.
That is very rare. Obviously when Yankees fans travel here, but for an Astros group to make that much noise at Fenway, and you could see the reaction from beyond the dugout. They were going crazy. 2-2 the count to JBJ.
You know, we talked about the experience and how that can, really benefit guys moving into the playoffs. How about Tony Kemp? He's trying to play himself onto a potential playoff roster.
It's not our call, but for me, there's not much more he can do than what he's done this season.
I agree. And the way he's handled it, like a true professional. He made it. We all knew that he wanted to break with the team out of spring. He didn't. Went down to AAA, put up numbers, got to the big leagues, played well enough to stick, and played well enough to have an impact consistently with his ABs. He's doing a great job.
He had told me just a couple days ago about being optioned before the season started. That was really, really tough on him. And when he did get the opportunity in mid-May, he felt like it was his last shot with the Astros. And out of options, it just felt like he hadn't had a chance to really show what he has. Maybe it was in bits and pieces over the years, but this he felt like he was going to put as much effort as he could to be a Houston Astros, and he's thrilled with what he's done so far.
Yeah, it was It was one of those points in his career, as you said, where he felt like there was nothing else he could prove at the AAA level. He led all of minor league baseball in hits last year. He was hitting again well up into the 300s this year, stealing bases. And it's fun to watch what he has done in 81 starts, and tonight the biggest pinch hit of his life. 3-2 pitch just off with a fastball, and Bradley Jr. draws a one-out walk.
Watch the Astros your way by downloading the AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit AT&TSportsnet.com. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet and their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply.
With Mookie Betts due up, Colin McHugh will leave the game, and Ryan Presley jogs in from the bullpen. We'll be back after this. Over in the 7th.
This is why he's here to pitch in some big moments. We talked about the spin rate all the time with Ryan Presley. That curveball slider mix has been very good for him recently. 16 strikeouts in those last 10 and a third innings pitched. As an Astro, he has a 1.15 ERA.
Faces the top of the lineup. Mookie Betts will bat. Pitch misses for ball 1. Mookie 3 for 3 against Garrett Cole. 3 of the 5 hits allowed by the Astros starter. Mookie's pushed that league leading batting average up to 340.
Interesting to see too if Jackie Bradley takes off at all. Ryan McCann coming in with Tony Kemp pinch hitting for Maldonado.
Sure he keeps him close. Bullpen's been good. As good as anybody since the beginning of August.
Yeah, we spend so much time talking about the starting rotation for the Houston Astros. They've done a good job with a couple of additions to that bullpen.
Gets past McCann on a pitch in the dirt. Now the tying runs in scoring position.
Tough to get out there and try and block that fastball. McCann tried to pick it, but it gets right past him.
Well, pitch charge to Presley, and now it's 2-0 on Mookie Betts. Rarity to see Presley behind in the count 3-0. He's been a strike thrower since joining the Astros. That is the first walk Presley has allowed in an Astros uniform. 22 strikeouts prior to that walk. And now he's issued his first walk. It's to the game's leading batter at 340, Mookie Betts.
McCann might still be learning about Ryan Presley a little bit too, having been on the DL for so long and then coming back. The last guy that's going to make any excuses is going to be Brian McCann.
Now Andrew Benintendi will bat. First and second, one out. There is a strike. Caught the edge with the fastball at 97. Ground ball towards first. Ulick gloves to second for one. No chance at a double play, throwing behind the runner, but Bradley Jr. stays on the bag. They get the force. First and third now with 2 outs.
Good play by Ulick. Watch the footwork by Ulick. That was hit right at him, but he did a very good job of kind of playing it to that backhand side and getting his shoulders squared up to the shortstop to make a nice strong throw.
Well, in Ryan Presley's Astros career, the moments haven't been much bigger than this. 1-run game, bottom of the 7th, facing a potential MVP and Triple Crown candidate JD Martinez. JD with great numbers against Presley in his career. Swing and a miss at 97.
Seen JD Martinez have a couple of issues with the elevated fastball. That is how Garrett Cole struck him out. But how about the opportunities the Red Sox create for JD Martinez? This is a third at bat with at least 2 runners on.
First and third, nobody out in the first. First and second, 2 outs in the third, and first and second, 2 outs in the 5th. Now first and third, 2 outs in the 7th. And there's a sharply hit base hit past the diving Correa. We're tied at 3. Heading towards third is Benintendi, and he will be safe at third base. JD Martinez with an RBI to tie the game. Now 5 for 7 in his career against Presley. AJ seeing if they need to challenge his play at third.
It'll be interesting to see. That was a pretty good throw coming in. That's a slider that backs up at 91 miles an hour, and JD does a great job of hitting a rocket back up the middle. And Jackie Bradley Jr. is a 9-hole hitter. He was walked to get on base.
They're going to look at this play at third. Either way, the run's going to score, but this could be, if they overturn it, the final out of the inning.
Just from our vantage point up here, looked like Alex did a good job of getting that tag on Benintendi, who went with the swim move.
Jim Crane, the owner, sitting right next to AJ Hinch.
Tough throw for Josh, going to his left, throwing back against himself. The only question is, does that arm get on there before The other issue is Alex Bregman, when he asks for replays, don't normally go too well.
That's pretty close. Wouldn't have minded seeing Alex stay with the tag too, because it was close to having Benintendi pop up off the bag. It's going to be a close one here. Either going to be first and third, 2 outs, or inning over, heading to the 8th, tied at 3. Xander Bogaerts is due up. We have a decision from New York.
Alex has yet to have one overturned.
Could cost him MVP. The only thing he hasn't done well this year. Well, now Ryan Presley will have to regroup and go to work against Xander Bogaerts in this tie game. That run charged to Colin McHugh as he had walked Jackie Bradley Jr. before he was taken out of the game. Bogaerts, like JD Martinez, has done well against Presley. Bogaerts a home run tonight, a couple of strikeouts. There's a strike, 1-1. Couple of walks in the inning, and the base hit by JD Martinez, who's now up to 117 runs batted in on the year. He's had a lot of traffic tonight, and he's driven in 2. One and 2 the count.
Fastball tailing up and in. And with McCann reaching back up and in, the backswing as Xander Bogaerts got him, and he apologized for it. Just say 99 miles an hour.
He's amped.
Yeah, there's a little extra sauce in there. Averages 96 miles an hour on his fastball throughout the course of the season, but we've seen him 97 a couple of times and touching 99 right there.
Popped up, playable, center field. Jake Marisnick puts it away. We are tied, headed to the 8th. and 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Carlos Correa replica orange jersey presented by HEB. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/promotions. But a good one tonight at Fenway Park. On we go to the 8th inning in a tie game. Joe Kelly takes over for the Red Sox.
Speaking of high velocity, he throws extremely hard, averaging 98 miles an hour on his fastball. A couple other pitches mixed in there too. Changeup, curveball, and the slider. 64 games this season. 60 strikeouts in 60 innings pitched.
Well, George Springer to lead things off, and George takes the breaking ball outside for ball 1. David Price went 6 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits. Had 2 inherited runners on base when he left the game, and they both came around to score. Ryan Brazier picked up the final 2 outs, but allowed a run of his own, and now Joe Kelly starts the 8th. Same pitch. This time George offered at it. It's 1-1. Career high 64 appearances for Kelly this year. There's 100.
Joe Kelly can flat bring it. Everything he throws is hard.
Hector Rondon warming up in the Astros bullpen. Highest pitch velocity of the night prior to that pitch to Springer was Garrett Cole, 99.2. Kelly threw that one 99.8. And that one's right around 101.
Last 2.
100.5 the previous one. Let's see what the last one came in at. 99.8, 100.5. And 101.1. Four in a row, triple digits. George just checked his swing and foul ball hit the bat. Kelly started him off with a couple of curveballs, but the last 4 pitches all at 100 miles an hour or hotter. And a ground ball, base hit. George Springer, a leadoff base runner in the 8th inning. Springer's first hit of the night.
George got one of those fastballs and turned on it, put it right through that 5.5 hole to get that base hit. Astros scored last inning when Alex Bregman led off with a base hit.
Well, if there's a guy that Altuve likes to face in this Red Sox bullpen, it's Joe Kelly. Altuve has faced him 9 times, and he's been on base 7 of those 9 times. 5 for 7, a walk and a hit by pitch. One of those 5 a home run. Altuve 0 for 3 tonight in the midst of a 1 for 23 overall. constantly bringing it 100 miles an hour tonight against Springer and now Altuve.
From our vantage point up here, that ball just jumps out of his hand and gets to home plate so quick. Reaction time of guys in the big leagues is incredible.
Up the middle. Kinsler gloves it, but it's out of his glove. Everybody's safe. Altuve at infield hit, and the Astros in business. First and second, nobody out with Bregman due up.
I think when Ian Kinsler gets to this baseball, he tried to go with a little bit of fanciness with the behind-the-back toss. He kind of extends himself and tries to go with the behind-the-back flip and loses the ball. And really the only chance he had, unless he tried to square up and give a flip to Xander Bogaerts to make sure of at least one out. Would have been a remarkable play if he was able to try and get that flip to Bogaerts. It ends up being a base hit for Jose Altuve.
Astros had one hit prior to the 7th inning. Now they have 6 on the infield hit by Altuve. And here's Alex Bregman. Is there anybody that loves the moment more than this guy? Base hit, right field. Springer will be held up. The ball comes back in. Mookie Betts got to it in a hurry. Bregman loads the bases with a single to right.
Some good arms in the outfield, and that ball was hit pretty hard.
And nobody out.
Gosh. Stay hot, Alex Bregman.
On base 3 more times tonight. Walk, double, and now a single to load the bases. Little meeting at the mound with Carlos Correa due up and the bases filled.
Tonight's Rocket Mortgage breakdown. Since June 1st, remember Alex Bregman was player of the month in June. JD Martinez has the advantage in average, on base percentage just barely. Then it's all Alex Bregman. Those 3 categories out of the 5 that he leads in OPS, home runs, RBI. And that kind of leads into why the MVP chants are coming out for Jose Altuve, because all year long it's been JD Martinez, Mookie Betts. But you better believe that Alex Bregman is in the conversation.
Well, we've talked about Carlos Correa's swing all night. What a spot for him here. Tie game, bases loaded in the 8th. And he takes a pitch inside. Infield is halfway with Springer on 3rd, Altuve on 2nd, and Bregman on 1st. Last time Correa faced Kelly, grounded out. The time before that, hit a home run. Down the right field line, playable. Mookie Betts pretty shallow. Springer, they're going to test him. Here comes the throw by Betts. Springer safe. Sacrifice fly by Carlos Correa. The others move up 90 feet, and the Astros take a 4-3 lead.
Gutsy chance, and it pays off because that ball was not hit a comfortable depth for an easy sac fly. A lot of that was on George Springer getting a good jump and the throw being offline. Mookie had a long way to go, but he had plenty of time to get under it and get set. See George flying by. That was beautifully done. Salvage an AB with a sac fly right there for Carlos Correa.
Now the infield comes in with Tyler White, the hitter. I mentioned Tyler's only had 1 career hit against the Red Sox, but what a spot it would be right here for him. Takes 100 on the edge. Correa with his 11th sacrifice fly. That's the most in the major leagues. White has never faced Kelly before. Bounces away. Down the line comes Altuve. 5-3 Astros lead.
How important is it now, looking back with the wild pitch? Man, no chance for Vasquez back there. But how big is it on that sac fly from Carlos Correa that all three runners advancing 90 feet? He just heads up base runner. Almost turned into an opportunity for Alex to try and score from second base.
Another at 100 miles an hour, fouled back. It's 1-2. Yeah, great base running by the Astros. They knew that the play had to come home. They took advantage of that by advancing Bregman to second and Altuve to third. Now Tyler White trying to add to this 2-run lead. You can hear "Let's go Astros."
Well, did you hear how quiet it was before that wild pitch too? That was another thing that kind of got me. Usually here at Fenway, they'll rise up and kind of back up their defense a little bit or their offense, but it was really quiet and a little tense for these fans here in Boston with the Astros having this many base runners in this inning. But that is a distinct Astros chant.
Still just one out. Bregman 90 feet away in a 2-run game. It's the edge. Count evens at 2.
Is that a changeup? 99.
Took a little off.
I'm kidding.
I took a little off it. Tried to guide it in there.
High octane out of that right arm of Joe Kelly.
There's a ball into left field for a base hit. Tyler White drives in Alex Bregman, and the Astros lead 6-3.
Can't hang that chum out over the plate to Great White and the runner in scoring position. There they are, represented. They have had all kinds of things to cheer about in these last 2 innings, and it took a long time to get to that 7th and 8th inning for those fans. David Price pitched extremely well, and that's going to be forgotten.
Oh, a great outing by Price, not just a good one. And the Astros now lead this game 6-3. The Astros had nobody reach second base for 6 innings. And now they have 6 runs in the last 2 innings. Here's Yuli Gurriel. I said I was interested to see how Tyler White did against the Red Sox in this series, and that's a nice way to start the series.
Did him a favor by throwing that hanging slider up out of the plate. But it was a great job by Tyler White, even though he's setting up for 100+ miles an hour, kept the hands back and was able to hit that line drive into left.
Well, Yuli got it started with a double off the monster in the 7th inning. That drove in the first run of the game for the Astros, made it 2-1. He is 2 for 3 tonight. Only time he's been retired was a line out to right. Yuli likes hitting against the Red Sox and likes hitting here at Fenway Park. His career numbers against Boston coming in .368. You know, while we've been watching the return of Springer and Altuve and Correa coming off of injuries, this is the guy that really hasn't been himself at the plate lately. Good to see these at bats tonight. Yuli's a guy you almost always count on to hit line drives, but we haven't seen the percentage as high lately. Tonight, a 2-hit night. Thought he had just drawn a walk, but instead he stays in the box with a full count.
Yeah, last year was such a consistent barrel for Yuli the entire season. It's been a little more of a roller coaster ride this season, but still seems he's getting back into the swing of getting the barrel to the baseball.
A little late on that 100-mile-an-hour fastball, so Yuli goes down swinging for the second out. A lot of pitches in this inning for Joe Kelly, and now he'll face Josh Reddick. Reddick had to be as thrilled as anybody on that bench when Tony Kemp came up with that huge pinch hit double, because Josh batted with second and third and 1 out and popped up his last time up. He's still looking for his first hit tonight.
Astros regressing back to 2017 numbers where they put up so many numbers from that 7th inning on.
And they've done it against this Boston bullpen. And as good as David Price was and deserved a better fate tonight, the Astros able to take advantage against Ryan Brazier and now Joe Kelly. Into shallow center. Jackie Bradley Jr. comes in, puts it away, but the Astros score 3 in the 8th and lead it 6-3. Young, in quotes, enough, knows the podium atop the leaderboard. Tonight's name, that Astro, is Rocket Roger Clemens, 7-time Cy Young Award winner, all-time most Cy Youngs won, College World Series winner. 9th all-time in wins and 3rd all-time in strikeouts. Sweet Caroline played after the top of the 8th inning here at Fenway Park. Astros fans enjoying this night with their team leading 6-3. And the new pitcher for the Astros is Hector Rondon.
Hector also last pitched on the third against Minnesota. Got knocked out of that ball game after taking a line drive off that right wrist forearm area. Good to see him back out and throwing, making his 56th appearance.
I'll face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the 8th inning. Mitch Moreland, after taking a strike, swings through that fastball. It's 0-2.
Pterodactyl in the booth.
Aha.
Trying to get it out of here.
Doing a good job so far.
Right? Got him corralled pretty good.
He's free. Butterfly action. Moreland, Kinsler, and Nunez due up. Astros with 7 hits and 6 runs in the last 2 innings, after having 1 hit and 1 walk in the first 6 innings. Good to see Rondon back. That was a scary moment that you mentioned when he was knocked out of that game with the line drive. He was actually back and throwing in the outfield the next day. AJ thought he might be down for a few days. He probably could have pitched that last game against the Twins if they wanted. And he picks up a strikeout here. 4 pitches getting Moreland. First strikeout for Hector, 1 out in the 8th.
Man, we're seeing some live arms in this ball game. You need any indication of what this game and this series means to these pitchers. Every guy, it seems, that comes in is throwing 2 to 3 miles an hour above their average velocity. At 98, Rondon with the strikeout.
No doubt. There's a lot of adrenaline going in this series for sure. We saw Garrett Cole throw some 92-mile-an-hour sliders. We've seen 100 tonight out of Ryan Presley, out of Joe Kelly consistently. Rondon going 98, 97. Ian Kinsler bats. And a base hit into right center field. Kinsler on base for the first time. He's now 1 for 4. Rondon will now face Eduardo Nunez. IJ has started to show that he likes to have the McHugh-Presley combo in the 6th or 7th innings. Brad Peacock occasionally, Tony Sipp against some select lefties, and then he likes Rondon, it looks like, in the 8th, and Osuna in the 9th. That seems to be the order he has gone with here, as we have turned August into September, as Rondon drops one in on a slider for a strike on Nunez. Garrett Cole started 6 innings of 2-run baseball. At the time he left, he was the pitcher of record, but then the game was tied. Colin McHugh and Ryan Presley got through the 7th, and now Hector Rondon in the 8th. Little chopper, tough play. Rondon slides and makes the throw. Yuli tried to pick it, and he kept Kinsler at second on a block.
Valiant effort by Rondon, but the bigger play is Yuli keeping that ball in the vicinity and keeping Kinsler at second base. Not much you can do about that. Nunez just topped it. Nobody else had a chance. Rondon giving it his best chance.
We're going to see a pinch hitter for the 2nd straight time for a catcher. Kinsler thought he had a chance to advance, but then Yuli kept it close by. Sandy Leon was pinch hit for in the 7th by Brock Holt, and now Rafael Devers is going to pinch hit for Christian Vasquez in the 8th. Part of the advantage of having expanded rosters is you can have 3 or 4 catchers, as both teams do in this matchup. Well, Devers will hit with 2 on and 1 out. for a strike. Devers not starting tonight against Garrett Cole. Probably will not get the start Sunday against Dallas Keuchel. He'll be in there tomorrow, you would imagine, with Charlie Morton on the mat. Down to the count here, 0-2.
Yeah, Nunez was a pretty big injury towards the end of the season last year for the Boston Red Sox because of those numbers he had against left-handed pitching.
Tomorrow's game, a late afternoon start here in Boston. We'll be on the air 2:30 Central tomorrow with our pregame show. Pulled a 98-mile-an-hour fastball up in the second deck, but way out in front.
In one of the few ballparks where you see a guy yank a weak fly ball down the right field line, you got to pay attention. Pesky pole down there.
Two. Swing and a miss. Rondon gets Devers for out number 2.
Kind of filthy. Started that slider on the inner third, just dips under the bat.
Now Rondon will face Jackie Bradley Jr. Bradley Jr. has walked a couple of times tonight. Last walk he scored a run, tied the game. Just inside with a fastball. Missed that fastball. It's 1-1. Saw the two arms in the Boston bullpen, both righties, Tyler Thornburg, Craig Kimbrell. Obviously that's score dependent for Alex Cora. We're going to bring in Kimbrell if his team's able to get this game tied in the 8th. Kinsler on second, Nunez on first with 2 outs. Gloved by Hector Rondon on the comebacker. He'll flip to Yuli, and he strands 2 in the 8th. Astros lead 6-3 headed to the 9th. Bregman.
Of course it was another double for Alex Bregman, adding to his totals this season, and then Yuli picks him up with a double. Pinch hitting Tony Kemp, driving in 2 huge runs. After the Red Sox came back a little bit, then the Astros went to work. 3 consecutive base hits in that 8th inning. Sac fly by Carlos Correa, and all 3 base runners on base advanced 90 feet. Which benefits them greatly, and then a big hit. I'm sorry, a wild pitch leading to that run, and then a big hit by Tyler White. It's been a lot of fun to watch these Astros answer back. It's been a battle going back and forth, but the Astros not getting any damage done until the 7th and 8th innings.
7 runs, 6 hits the last 2 innings, and 1 hit prior to that as Brian McCann will bat for the first time tonight. McCann came on defensively in the bottom of the 7th inning after Tony Kemp pinch hit for Martin Maldonado. Ryan, his numbers on the year, facing a new pitcher for the Red Sox, Tyler Thornburg.
Thornburg is a fastball, changeup, curveball guy. 93 miles an hour average on that fastball. Some of the numbers on Tyler: 22 games, 19 strikeouts to 8 walks.
McCann reaches out and gets one past Kinsler in the shift. Brian McCann, a leadoff base hit in the 9th inning. Well, leadoff double in the 7th, a leadoff single in the 8th, and now a leadoff single in the 9th for a team that didn't have anything going offensively prior to that. Here's Jake Marisnick getting his 4th at bat. Jake has flied out to left, popped up and grounded out. Astros coming in with the best road record in baseball, 47-21. The Red Sox with the best home record in baseball, 48-18. Something had to give in this series. Jake down in the count 0-2. Tried to hold up, and he goes around. Marisnick strikes out. That's 1 away in the 9th.
Go behind the scenes at Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour and check out areas like TK's chair in the broadcast booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. It's right behind that curtain. It's where all the magic happens.
George hits one hard past third base into left field. Second straight time he's hit one between short and third for a base hit. George 2 for 5 night. And the Astros have 2 on in the 9th.
Curveball down, not a terrible pitch, just a better swing by George.
If somebody would have told us, or you, that the Astros would have 10 hits tonight when we started the 7th inning, I'd say you're crazy. 1 hit through 6 and nothing going on.
We were kind of sitting on our hands.
Now they're up to 10 hits. Altuve takes one in the dirt. Almost went after that baseball. Good thing he didn't. It's a live ball, Jose. He's
getting reprimanded.
He's like, I know. I almost forgot where I was.
He said, I'm trying to help. I'm sorry.
Nobody on base, go ahead and help out, but not with runners on. 2-0. Altuve right in the midst of that 3-run 8th inning. His chopping single up the middle that Kinsler gloved but couldn't make a play on. And Altuve came around to score. Roberto Osuna warming up in the Astros bullpen, but they also have double barrel action just in case the offense adds to the lead and takes it beyond a save situation. Brad Peacock warming up in addition to Roberto Osuna.
Got a Mattress Firm Supermo shot of that curveball. It's down and away. George's front side leaves a little bit too early, but again, the hand staying back just a little bit, takes a nice direct path to it and yanks it into left field for a knock.
All right, Altuve with a 2-0 count here and 2 on. Ooh. One of the better swings we've seen from Altuve. It's 2-1.
There we go. 2-0 count. See a fastball, get it, go for it. It's also a little more comfortable to take those 2-0 hacks when you've got a 3-run lead too.
Ground ball towards third. Nunez will step on third and make the play across for the double play to end the inning. We'll see Roberto Osuna in the bottom of the 9th. 6-3 game. By Toyota. Let's go places. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. Bottom of the 9th inning from Fenway Park. Quite a comeback by the Astros, down 2-0, scoring 6 runs in the 7th and 8th combined, 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. And now, we head to the bottom of the 9th. Roberto Osuna.
Osuna 13 of 14 in the saves and save opportunities. Picked up that 13th save against Minnesota on the 4th, going an inning strong. Has not been pretty for Osuna, who pitched previously with the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League East against these Red Sox.
He'll face the top of the order, Mookie Betts, who has been on base all 4 times, 3 for 3 with a walk. And he starts him off with a fastball for a strike. Couple of hits in the 8th inning against Hector Rondon, but he was able to work through that situation as Mookie sends one high in the air to center field. Jake Marisnick waits for it, and that's 1 out. always good to keep Mookie off base to start the inning.
No matter what your lead is, yeah.
Now he'll face Andrew Benintendi. Astros and Red Sox split a 4-game series at Minute Maid Park back at the end of May and early June. Astros trying to take the first game in this weekend series here at Fenway Park. Benintendi 1 for 4 tonight. Soon ahead 0-2.
Good changeup.
Really good changeup.
Good arm action. That arm comes flying through. But the way he grips that, just baseball feels like it never gets there as a hitter.
A's lead their game tonight in Oakland against Texas 3-0 in the second inning. A's going back to the opening starter system again tonight with Liam Hendricks getting the first inning and then going to their bullpen for the other 8. Into left field, coming on Reddick. It'll play it about chest high for out number 2. Benintendi's been scalding the ball to left, but Reddick's made some plays on him tonight.
He is a beautiful inside-out swing. As much as it pains me to say that about a Boston Red Sox, but that is a very good-looking swing from Andrew Benintendi. Fortunately, they've been going right at Josh Reddick out there in left.
Well, here's J.D. Martinez, who will bat with the bases empty for the first time tonight.
Thank goodness.
In fact, he has not batted without at least 2 on base all night long.
Man.
96 challenge fastball that J.D. fouls back. Astros doing all their damage in the last couple of innings. 9 hits in the last 3 innings. Trying to close out the first game of this weekend series. Afternoon game tomorrow, night game on Sunday. Tomorrow will be Charlie Morton returning from the DL against the lefty Eduardo Rodriguez for the Red Sox. Sunday night is Dallas Keuchel against Rick Porcello. On the ground, 1 hop to Bregman. Takes his time, and the Astros are winners. 6-3, the final score. The Astros take the first game of this weekend series in Boston. 3 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th. That was a fun way to start the series.
Absolutely. It lived up to pretty much everything we wanted to see in this series. A potential postseason matchup. High intensity, high velocity out of the arms and starters and relievers. It was a lot of fun to watch, and clutch hitting by the Astros.